Welcome to episode 37 of your KYSA Plus Prepcast. In today's session, we explore two of the most foundational analytical skills in cybersecurity: pattern recognition and command analysis. These capabilities allow analysts to detect malicious behaviors early, identify suspicious commands that could signal attacker presence, and respond swiftly to unfolding incidents. Pattern recognition and command analysis complement each other and serve as critical building blocks in the detection, investigation, and response workflow. Understanding these techniques is essential for passing the CYSA Plus exam and applying real-time threat detection within a modern security operations center. To begin, let's define pattern recognition in the cybersecurity context. Pattern recognition involves the process of identifying recurring sequences, behaviors, or indicators that correlate with known cyber threats. These patterns may emerge in network traffic, authentication logs, system behaviors, or email content. Analysts trained in recognizing these signals are better equipped to detect threats early and map observed activity to known attacker tactics. Whether detecting brute force login attempts, phishing campaigns, or malware beaconing, pattern recognition accelerates detection and improves threat validation. One example of pattern recognition is identifying recurring steps in the cyber kill chain. Attackers often follow a recognizable sequence: initial access, privilege escalation, lateral movement, and data exfiltration. Analysts learn to detect the signs of each stage and use that knowledge to disrupt attacks in progress. For instance, if an endpoint shows signs of lateral movement shortly after a suspicious login, it could indicate a post-compromise escalation. The ability to detect and connect these steps helps analysts piece together the attack narrative and respond in a timely manner. Traffic analysis is another critical component of pattern recognition. Analysts observe network traffic flows to spot signs of reconnaissance, exploitation, or data leakage. Indicators such as unusual destination IP addresses, consistent intervals of outbound traffic, or port scanning behavior often reveal attacker presence. Detection platforms can automate parts of this process by flagging traffic anomalies or patterns associated with known malware command and control activity. On the CYSA Plus exam, you may be asked to interpret traffic patterns or identify which behaviors warrant further investigation. Pattern recognition is often automated using rules and signatures in tools such as intrusion detection systems and SIM platforms. These tools analyze vast quantities of data and alert analysts when known malicious behaviors are detected. For example, an IDS may use a rule to flag traffic that matches the payload structure of a known exploit. SIM platforms can correlate events across multiple sources to uncover complex patterns. Analysts still play a crucial role by reviewing these alerts, validating matches, and fine-tuning rules to reduce false positives. Email phishing campaigns also present recognizable patterns. Attackers often reuse similar subject lines, attachment names, or embedded URLs across multiple campaigns. Analysts who can recognize these features are better equipped to identify phishing attempts, even when signatures are not available. For example, emails with compressed attachments containing executables or messages urging urgent account verification are common phishing themes. Pattern recognition allows analysts to block these campaigns at the gateway or alert users before engagement. When investigating malware, analysts look for command and Chicago patterns. Malware often communicates with attacker infrastructure at regular intervals, sometimes referred to as beaconing. These beacons may include heartbeat signals, payload requests, or stolen data exfiltration. By identifying consistent timing, protocol usage, or domain naming schemes, analysts can isolate infected machines and trace the scope of compromise. On the exam, you may be asked how beaconing behavior is detected and what indicators suggest malware-controlled communication. Pattern-based detection also benefits from YARA rule creation. Analysts use YARA to define byte patterns, strings, and file characteristics that identify malware. For instance, if a malware sample always contains a specific function name or embedded configuration string, YARA can be used to detect it across an environment. YARA rules enable scalable detection of threats, even before behavior is observed. Expect CYSA Plus questions involving YARA syntax, rule logic, or how custom rules contribute to malware hunting. Effective threat detection often depends on the correlation of patterns across multiple data sources. Analysts combine insights from endpoint telemetry, firewall logs, DNS lookups, and authentication systems to uncover sophisticated threats. A failed login from an unusual IP, followed by process injection on a critical server, and then file transfers over HTTPS may individually seem benign, but together they form a recognizable attack pattern. Analysts use SIM correlation rules or custom dashboards to visualize and alert on these multi-service behaviors. Machine learning plays an increasing role in pattern recognition. Instead of relying solely on static rules, ML-based systems learn what normal behavior looks like and flag deviations. This approach is valuable in identifying slow, low-volume, or previously unknown threats. Analysts review flagged anomalies, determine their legitimacy, and update training models. While ML reduces false negatives, it still requires human tuning. On the exam, you may be asked how machine learning supports pattern recognition, or when to use it over traditional rule-based methods. To remain effective, pattern recognition must be continuously refined. Analysts review detection outcomes, update rules based on false positives or missed threats, and integrate new threat intelligence into existing platforms. The process of tuning analytics ensures detection strategies remain effective as attacker tactics evolve. New malware families, phishing tactics, and attack techniques demand ongoing review and improvement of pattern detection logic. You may be asked on the exam how to improve detection accuracy or manage the life cycle of detection rules. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are more security courses on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Now that we've explored the fundamentals of pattern recognition, including network traffic analysis, phishing campaign detection, and behavioral correlation, it's time to shift focus to command analysis. Command analysis is the process of reviewing and interpreting commands executed within a system, especially those issued by attackers during reconnaissance, exploitation, or persistence. This technique is essential in understanding attacker intent, identifying intrusion paths, and crafting response strategies. Combined with pattern recognition, command analysis allows analysts to detect threats at both the behavioral and operational levels. In this second half of the episode, we'll examine how analysts review command line activity, detect obfuscation, correlate commands with threat behavior, and build resilient detection processes, critical competencies for both the CYSA Plus exam and SOC operations. Command analysis starts by capturing and inspecting the logs of commands executed by users, scripts, or malware. These commands often serve as the clearest indicators of malicious behavior. For example, an attacker may run reconnaissance commands like ipconfig, whoami, or netstat immediately after gaining access. Analysts review logs from PowerShell, terminal history, shell scripts, or Windows Management Instrumentation, WM. On the exam, you may be asked to identify which command logs suggest attacker presence or determine whether a script is benign or malicious based on its structure. Attackers frequently obfuscate commands to bypass detection systems. Common techniques include base64 encoding, PowerShell script compression, special character substitution, and URL encoding. A typical example involves encoding a PowerShell command with encoded command to prevent easy inspection. Analysts must decode these strings to reveal the actual instructions. Tools like CyberChef and in-conflict decoding functions assist with this process. Command obfuscation is a common exam topic, so be prepared to interpret encoded strings or select which decoding method reveals malicious content. Modern EDR and SIM platforms capture command execution in real time, allowing analysts to observe attack sequences as they happen. Alerts may be generated when suspicious commands are detected, such as those related to credential theft, privilege escalation, or network discovery. Commands like net user, net local group administrations, or WI-make process call create are often used in early attack stages. Analysts examine arguments passed to these commands to identify malicious intent. For example, the use of /add or /delete in account commands can indicate unauthorized account manipulation. CYSA+ scenarios may require you to evaluate command logs and decide which actions require escalation. Understanding attacker objectives through command analysis is also vital. Attackers use specific command line tools and arguments to achieve their goals. For instance, mimikatz is frequently used to dump credentials. Invoke expression allows PowerShell to run dynamic code, and certutil is sometimes abused for data exfiltration. By recognizing these patterns, analysts can classify the type of threat, whether it's credential access, persistence, or privilege escalation. The exam may ask you to match command examples to MITRE attack techniques, or classify the phase of an attack based on execution context. Privileged systems are often primary targets for command-based attacks, so analysts pay special attention to administrative command execution. Monitoring tools can detect when elevated commands are issued unexpectedly or during off moments. For example, if a domain controller logs netgroup domain admins/add at 3 a.m. from an unrecognized machine, that action should trigger investigation. Analysts must understand which commands are risky and how to validate whether they are legitimate or suspicious. CYSA+ questions may include privileged command execution events and require you to prioritize alerts accordingly. Command analysis benefits significantly from behavioral analytics. Rather than looking at individual commands in isolation, analysts examine command sequences. If a user executes huami, then immediately runs netview and dirtb, followed by file copy commands, this pattern suggests lateral movement or data theft. Analysts use UEBA platforms and SIM queries to identify deviations from normal behavior. Command sequencing analysis improves detection of scripted attacks and low-noise intrusions. You may be asked how behavior analytics supports command detection or how to interpret activity timelines. Correlating command activity with other security indicators provides powerful insight into the scope of an incident. Analysts pair suspicious commands with anomalies such as login failures, file modification alerts, unexpected outbound traffic, or registry changes. For instance, a detected use of PowerShell.rnop.c might coincide with network beacons or credential dumping. This correlation allows analysts to confirm threats and implement more targeted responses. Expect CYSA+ exam questions that present combined data from command logs and network telemetry, asking for the most likely interpretation or next step. Detection rules based on command patterns help automate response. Analysts create signatures for commonly abused commands or arguments. SIMs can trigger alerts when exact matches or risky patterns are observed. For example, a rule might trigger if invoke webinar is followed by an external URL, or if winword xb spawns from a document reader like winword xcb. Analysts continuously update these rules as attacker techniques evolve. The exam may present detection rule snippets or ask how to write a rule that captures risky command execution across multiple endpoints. Proper documentation of command analysis is essential for both immediate response and long-term improvement. Analysts maintain detailed records of malicious commands, associated timestamps, affected systems, and response actions. This documentation supports future threat hunting, policy creation, and training exercises. It also satisfies audit and compliance requirements by showing due diligence in incident tracking. You may be tested on how to document incidents involving suspicious command activity, or how to structure a command-focused investigation report. Finally, analysts must engage in continuous training to stay proficient in command analysis. This includes reviewing red team assessments, participating in threat emulation labs, and studying real-world attacker scripts. Threat actors continuously evolve their tooling and obfuscation techniques, and analysts must adapt accordingly. Proficiency in parsing logs, decoding payloads, and interpreting command logic is critical. On the CYSA+ exam, expect questions that test not only tool knowledge, but also your ability to reason through suspicious behavior based on commands alone. To conclude, Episode 37, combining pattern recognition with command analysis gives analysts a comprehensive approach to detecting and understanding cyber threats. Whether spotting repeated behaviors across traffic flows or decoding suspicious command strings in PowerShell logs, These skills allow you to act with speed and precision. Mastering these techniques prepares you for a wide variety of threat scenarios and ensures you are well implemented to pass the CYSA Plus exam and thrive in a real-world SOC environment. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.